Well, hello, welcome to Journey of Sailing Yacht Syrinx. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining. If you're checking back in with us, I appreciate you watching the channel. To remind everybody, at the last episode, my name's Rich, and I have been considering restoring a 1936 Bertham Gauntlet sailing yacht named Syrinx. I'd like to introduce you here first to my wife, Allison.
Hello.
I have taken Allison and our family on some crazy adventures over the years. Some of them have been life-changing episodes that went on for a long period of time, pretty in a good way. Some of them have been, I would call them follies, little crazy things. You have a special term for that, Allison. Richard's shenanigans. And I think that the boat here could possibly constitute one of my shenanigans, possibly a big one, but hopefully not. The last episode, if you guys recall, I had done an amateur but pretty thorough survey of the boat. And many astute YouTube viewers commented that I ought to get a licensed marine inspector out there, and I did just that actually. I had a survey done, and I'm holding it here in my hand. And the upshot of the survey is that due to her, yes, there is a lot of work to be done, and that was evident in the first video. But due to her very high quality construction and history, Syrinx is worthy of preservation. Those are the words at the bottom line in the report. So getting real here for a minute, it has been several weeks of really tough conversations and weighing factors, and we've had to make some big decisions. I've got a lot of obligations around getting our house done, and my workplace is keeping me busy. But at the same time, Syrinx was facing immediate, or fairly soon it would be scrapped. So that was one factor also to weigh. There's an opportunity here that may not be here in a year or two. And I take my role in all this really seriously, as far as the boat goes. If it goes into the wrong hands, it could be the end of the boat. And I don't want to be that person that takes on something they shouldn't and ends up being the demise of such a beautiful old yacht. So I really weighed those factors. And of course the family obligations. A lot of back and forth, a lot of honestly soul searching. Allison, what are your thoughts at this point on the boat situation?
My thoughts are that it is a very huge project. It seems overwhelming from start to finish. But I do think that if you persevere and you stay organized and focused, I believe you will get it done. And also, everything you do turns out amazing. The quality is amazing. I'm always in awe of what you complete, and I always look at your projects and think, how did you do that? It'll start from just a piece of wood and it turns out amazing. So
thank you. I'll pay you after the video.
You're gonna pay me a lot.
Anyway, so if you guys haven't figured out, we're gonna take the plunge, and it is not lightly, but we're gonna take the plunge. I've had to make a deal with Allison that I would get 2 meaningful house projects done for every big job on the boat. So the videos might be a little slow in coming, but they will keep coming. But right now, why don't you guys come along with us? We're going to head back over to Port Townsend, clean up the boat, get it ready for transport, all buttoned down, and truck transport, and then we're going to discuss the next steps in the project. week later, and Allison and I are on the ferry, headed back over to Port Townsend again, this time to sign papers on Syrinx and get her ready for the move to Camino Island. Wish us luck. A lot of boat work to do here, and Alice and I are going to get a bit of breakfast first. All right, well, we're back at the boat again, and the goal out here today is to sign papers on the boat. So we're going to take this on, go inside, end up cleaning it out, cleaning out the bilge, all of the junk inside, and then trying to seal it up a little bit. Bye-bye, perfume. Well, I won't go so far as to say it looks good, but it does look better now that you can see the everything for what it is. All the rust and leaves and dirt are gone, and we can size this thing up a little bit better now. Here's that large check in the centerline timber in the bow. It's got to be about a ½ inch wide at the widest spot. It goes down quite far. Tried to vacuum it out. Going to take some more work to figure out what's going on there, what the solution is. There's 30 of these wrought iron floors in the boat, total of 30. They've got them on every frame, unless there's a metal plate, a steel plate on the frame, then they skip. But they have them on every frame. The big frames are look like they're made out of 1 inch thick by about 1.5 inches wide wrought iron tapers, of course. The smaller frames look like they're 3/4 of an inch by, I'd say, about 1 1/4 wide. Something's going to have to be done here, probably something new. So I've done some more research, and I think the frames are teak. Also, I found some Bertham literature that said that the frames on at least some of the gauntlets were teak, and I imagine if they use teak planks on this one, they use teak frames. It looks like teak in areas where the finish is off. It's got that light brownish look more than oak would have. So there's a new bulkhead that's been constructed here between what I think this may have been the head, based on the paint being different here, and there are a couple through-hole valves up front here too, which makes me think the head was in the bow. But next to between the bow and the salon, we've got a new bulkhead that's been built relatively recently. It's built out of clear fir. I think the remainder of the wood on the painted bulkheads is clear fir also, so good quality material. Here's the salon bilge, and there's the mast step, and got it all cleaned out and got all the rust knocked off the floors. Looks like there's concrete laid in here, painted. And so I can't really see the centerline timbers in this part of the boat, but all the wood seems really solid when you poke at it. Obviously the floors are still an issue throughout the whole boat, but there's one cracked frame I see. I did find a sistered frame, two of them up in the bow too, that had been, you could see cracks in running longitudinally through laterally through the frame, and they had done a nice job sistering repair. Well, the keel in the stern area looks marginally better now that I cleaned out about an entire contractor's bag full of leaves and debris. Here, I'll film the look of joy on your face on your first official entry into Syrinx. Prepare yourself for wonderment, sweetie.
Oh God.
Don't put your foot in any holes. There's a couple missing floor panels.
Oh, this looks like it's almost finished. Look at this. Oh. Oh my gosh.
Hold on, did you just say that you're starting to really enjoy working on this boat?
No, I said, do you see me working on this boat? This will be the last time you see me working on this boat. I'm enabling you. I'm not going to be an enabler. This is the last. I'm glad you're getting this on.
Thank you, sweetie. I married an angel. That is for sure.
I married a devil. Seriously.
Like to purchase Syrinx from you.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
It's
I
either
have my faith in you.
It's either
She's
the
gonna be
smartest or
beautiful.
dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, one or the other.
Well, I think it's going to be wonderful.
I think it'll be fun.
Cheers.
The plan that second week had been to clean out the boat, sign papers, and then load the container of parts into the boat for transport. That plan didn't work out so well. We weren't able to get the crate out of the warehouse on a forklift, and there just wasn't time to get all that done. So 2 weeks later, I find myself back on a ferry boat on an absolutely spectacular Saturday morning, riding back over to Port Townsend for a third visit to get the boat all buttoned up, ready for transport. Reading over the awesome YouTube comments you guys made to our first video, along with my coffee and eggs, made for an inspirational start to the day. Hey, I couldn't waste a trip to Port Townsend without at least doing a quick drive-by of the boat project that was probably most responsible for inspiring me to take on Syrinx. That's obviously the Tally-Ho project that many are familiar with. Here's Leo's boat shop, and if you can peek through here, there's the Tally-Ho. Back behind the other boats here, they've got it tucked away for good reason. They don't want to be bothered. I don't dare go any closer. They got plenty of work to do. They're getting ready to step the mast soon. And that's why it's outside. But just glad to be by here. I'm trying to absorb some of their energy. This time I came prepared with our old family soapbox derby trailer ready to carry all that extra hardware and woodwork back to our shop. All right. We got a couple of guests here who just took a tour of Syrinx. Let our viewers know who you are.
Oh, I'm Phil Rome, and I have lived in Port Townsend for 30 years, and I've been a shipwright in town for maybe 15 years, and we were just prowling around after breakfast, checking out the Syrinx, and noticed there was some activity on it. So the new owner was nice enough to give us a tour, and she really is in way better shape than I had thought, and a very, very neat boat, like a very high quality built English yacht.
Thank you. What'd you think of the tour?
My name is Case Prince. I've lived there for 20 years, boat builder. Yeah, when I see a boat like this, it's beautiful and it's graceful, it's old school. I see a lot of work. I see a lot of fuzzy wood and Dutchman and rusted steel, so I wish the owner lots of perseverance.
Thanks. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there it is, the crate full of miscellaneous stuff. It's going to be interesting to see what's in there. Getting ready to move it over to the trailer. The help of Chris from Sea Marine.
Oh no, you're not gonna make it. I don't think we're gonna make it. Look, then you got that stick.
Oh, we gotta pull that whiteboard out.
Well, it was a little bit disappointing at first to not be able to fit the crate into the cargo trailer. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I was able to take some time and sort through the tubs and organize all of the hardware and woodwork, and it turns out there were some really nice surprises in there, but you're going to have to wait for a later episode for the big reveal. So after a couple long sweaty days, we've got Syrinx ready to transport. The top deck, all the openings have either covers or have been taped over with visqueen, heavy Gorilla tape. It can go down the road, it should be fine. We've got the boat all cleaned out. We've got, went through the hardware box today. That was a massive battle. The crate did not fit in our trailer, so a little bit of extra work. But hey, I want to say thank you to everybody on YouTube. We were just blown away by the response to our first video. Didn't expect that at all, and there were so many wonderful comments, interesting people who knew a bit of the history or knew about boat building and had very interesting things to say, both pro and con. Really appreciated the diversity of opinions. There were people who with boat building experience who said, hey, yeah, this is a worthwhile project to venture into, you know, go in with your eyes open, but it's not a, you know, it's a worth working on. There are others who said you're absolutely crazy and don't know what you're getting into. So appreciate the diversity of opinions, and there was everything in between as well. But you know, it brings to mind, it is a massive task, and the more I work on the boat I realize, yeah, it's big. I come back to a quote from Larry Pardee in his boat building, I think it was a boat building book or one of their sailing books, where he said, you don't build a boat, you build a keel, and then you build frames, and then you build planks and a hull, and ultimately a rig, and then you build a sailboat. It's one piece at a time, and that's the way I approach every project I've done in my life, is try and break it down into manageable, bite-sized pieces. So what's next for us? Obviously, we got to get this onto our site. So we've got some prep work to do on the site. I've got to take down a couple trees and do some grading, bring in some crushed rock and then some gravel, get the site prepped. So we've got about roughly a 60 by 40 foot area flat that we can work around and then get shelter over the boat. Research is another thing. I've already been able to locate 3 or 4 of the previous owners' names and some contact info, and looking forward to reaching out and seeing if I can find out some of the reasons why certain things were done on the boat, or just the history in general. Very interested in learning more about that. Got to go figure out a plan of attack, you know, figure out the next things to do on the boat, and what makes logical sense. Right now I'm thinking working from the bottom up on the hull is probably most sensible. And take a look at the, you know, the keel timbers in particular. Probably have to pull off the garboards, and that's probably a decent place to start, but I haven't quite decided that yet. More time to come on that. Yeah, that's it. We're taking the plunge, so come on along. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching, and please take care.